If you search for LED glow lights on Amazon, you've probably seen hundreds of options that all look pretty similar. Big wattage numbers, clean photos, thousands of reviews. So today, I want to talk about what actually matters and what to watch out for before you click buy now. Let's start with the biggest trend, wattage. On Amazon, you will see lights labeled 1000 watts, 2000 watts, even 3000 watts. In reality, many of these lights draw only a fraction of that power from the wall. What matters isn't the advertised wattage, it's actual power consumption. If your product page doesn't clearly state how many watts it really draws, that's your first red flag. The second thing I look for is a PPFD map, not a single number, not after glance. A real PPFD map shows how light is distributed across the entire area. If your light doesn't come with a PPFD map, I always ask myself, does the manufacturer actually know how this light performs? A very common issue with cheaper lights is a bright center and weak edges. The plant in the middle looks great, the corners struggle. When I look at the PPFD map, I want the corners to be at least 50% of the center value. Anything much lower than that usually means uneven growth and wasted power. Another thing that gets a lot of attention is spectrum. Many Amazon lights advertise all kinds of colors, UV, IR, deep red, far red, all in one picture. In reality, most modern glow lights perform very similarly. A solid white spectrum with some 660 nanometer deep red is already more than enough for most setups. More colors don't automatically mean better results, especially if the power and distribution aren't there. Cooling and structure are two things you rarely see clearly on Amazon product page. Thin aluminum, small heat sinks, poor airflow, these don't show up in photos, but they decide how long the light lasts. When heat builds up, output drops, spectrum shifts, and lifespan shortens. This is why fixture design matters just as much as LEDs. Reviews can be helpful, but they're not the whole story. Many reviews are written days or weeks after purchase. Very few reflect long-term performance. When reading reviews, I pay more attention to failures, overheating, driver issues, and customer service responses. Those tell you much more than store ratings alone. A cheaper light isn't always cheaper in the long run. Lower efficiency means higher electricity cost. Poorer cooling means shorter lifespan. When you look at total cost, fixture plus electricity over a few years, the gap often becomes much smaller. Sometimes the cheap option ends up costing more. So here's a simple checklist I use when browsing Amazon. Real power draw, clearly stated, a proper PPFD map, reasonable uniformity, clear thermal design, transparent specifications. If too many of these are missing, I move on. Buying glow lights online isn't about chasing the biggest numbers. It's about understanding what actually affects plant's performance over time. If you want more factory level breakdowns like this from an engineering perspective, follow Casyoo for the next one.